They can keep that fourth fight. I don't want it. I mean, let me know how you guys feel, about a fourth fight between Juan Francisco Estrada and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. But for me, from my side, nah, dog. Also, I fell asleep during the Cesar Martinez fight. So right now it is exactly 5:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, December the 4th, 2022. I felt right on fucking futon. I was like laying. I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay down for a minute, And then that fight was getting a little bit dreadful. And then before you know it, once I turn over on my side and I'm facing like the back of the futon, I'm in the pillow. I'm like, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm finished. So I got up like 2:30 and I actually watched both of these fights back to back. And if I was to rate this card as a whole, Mark Castro, Diego Pacheco, Amo Williams, looked, I'm going to say it wasn't the best of nights for these guys. This card didn't produce a lot of action, and it was supposed to. It happens like this sometimes, So let me tell you what I'm going to be doing. Get this out of the way. I'm still covering boxing, but in what capacity, I'm not quite sure yet. We will always be doing the podcast, though, and I got to get in touch with the WBC app powered by the Vive Network. The links are down below in the description box. But I'm definitely going to be covering boxing at least on the weekends. That's for sure. But weekday, I don't know about that unless it's like a super big press conference. Spence versus Crawford, that did something to me. They're about to read the cards. Even though I can fast forward, I still like to let it all play through as if I was covering this shit in real time. So anyway, one thing about this trilogy is they can't hurt each other. They haven't dropped each other, and they're like evenly matched. Me, personally, I gave it to Estrada. I think he did enough. The second fight, I gave it to Chocolatito. But in this case, especially I thought that Chocolatito was going to come in and look better, the best he has between the in all three fights, or the two previous ones, better than he did in that, because of how shitty Francisco Estrada looked in his last fight, which I covered. Let's turn it up. Listen to the cards. I have the scorecard here on the screen, by the way. We pulled up.
To the judges' scorecards. Chris Tues, 114, a draw. Tim Cheatham, 116, 112. And Dennis O'Connell, 115, 113. Both for your winner by majority decision. And the new WBC and Ring Magazine Super Flyweight Champion of the World, El Gallo, Juan Francisco Estrada.
He has done it. 2 out of 3 against Chocolatito. His hot start was the difference.
I think the right man won. I would have been cool with the draw, but I think the right man overall won. 115, 113, 7-5 is what I had it. But I think Estrada won. What's next? You got Bam Rodriguez targeting. He's got fights between 112 and 115. It's just that the division, the Superfly division, like it needs a little bit more buzz. Because right now it's not really buzzing like it was a few years ago. We need some new blood. Bam Rodriguez, he didn't look good in his last fight either. Like, not really impressive. You get those type of fights like that. But I think that's the fight that needs to be made. You see what I'm saying? Or if Estrada fights, Chocolatito, and they're both without the same promoter. Bam was talking about earlier on the broadcast about how the fight is difficult to make. And even if they are under the same promoter, it's difficult to make, taking promotions. I don't understand what he was saying by that. But he has said in the past that him and Chocolatito were kind of close. And obviously he's in his division and he's so young, he looks at him as a legend. You see what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, you want to make some money, y'all got to fight. You got to fight. But I think El Gallo did enough to pull his joint off. But overall, nice little solid week in the boxing. Josh Kelly won in what people are saying is impressive performance, but I don't really, Troy Williamson never really ranked him that high. Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, Daniel Dubois, you know, survived a big ass bomb scare. Cesar Martinez, I think Sonny Williams going to fucking put a boot in his ass. Let's turn it up. Listen to the post-fight interview.
2 out of 3 against one of the greats in boxing history, Roman Gonzalez. How did you feel about your performance?
No, muy bien, la verdad que hicimos una excelente preparación en la altura. Pues ganamos la segunda y la tercera pelea. Yo creo que quedó claro. Si Román quiere una cuarta pelea, pues la esperamos con gusto y pues la gente, yo creo que disfrutó de un gran espectáculo.
I feel good. We had an excellent preparation at high altitude. We trained really hard for this third fight, and I think we left the result clear about who the winner was. And if he wants the fourth fight, I think we can do it, and I think the fans really enjoyed a great fight tonight.
You had fought 2 very competitive fights against Chocolatito before this. How did this compare to the previous 2?
Bueno, la pelea pasada en el 2012, hace 10 años, peleé en un peso muy bajo, mini mosca, no era mi peso. Ahora en super mosca es la segunda pelea y esta trilogía, imagínate, yo creo que hicimos la preparación excelente.
Well, the first time 10 years ago, 2012, when we had the first fight, I fought at a weight that was lower than my original one at mini flyweight. For the second fight, we fought at super flyweight, and then this third fight, I think we did an excellent preparation to secure the victory.
This was a very different type of fight in the sense that you were in total control over the first 5 rounds, and Chocolatito seemed to make a comeback over the next 5. How did it feel in there in the ring?
Sí, la verdad que siempre yo voy de menos a más. En este caso con Román González no podía hacer eso porque él es un peleador que siempre va al frente. Tenemos que contragolpear, hacer nuestro trabajo y lo que nos sacó adelante es la condición física, el excelente trabajo que hicimos con mi entrenador Alfredo Caballero.
I always go from less to more. Chocolatito can't really do that because he's always going at 100 miles per hour throughout the rounds in the fight. And what I did was that I made sure that I counter-punching, that I threw a lot of punches, and utilized the preparation that we did with my excellent team.
Did it surprise you that at 35 years old, he was able to come on in the second half of the fight?
Bueno, Román para mí es, como siempre le he dicho en las entrevistas, él es un futuro Salón de la Fama, es un gran campeón. Yo no me pongo a su nivel, hoy lo gané porque soy mejor preparado físicamente, pero él es un gran campeón, todavía le queda camino por delante.
Like I've always said in my interviews, he's a future Hall of Famer. I won today out of my own merits. It doesn't take anything away from me. I won because I was a better preparer, and I think that he still has a lot ahead of him in his career.
All right, stand by for one moment. Juan, I'm going to bring Gabe over here to talk to Chocolatito. Roman, another tremendous fight between you 2 warriors. Did you think you did enough to get the decision?
Bueno, fue una bonita pelea para el público.
It was a nice fight for the public.
Hice lo que pude y pues ese fue el resultado.
I did what I could, and well, that was the result.
It seemed to take you a little while to get going in this fight. Why was it such a slow start?
Bueno, estaba probando qué es lo que traía.
I was seeing what he had.
Pero bueno, lo importante es que hicimos una buena pelea para el público. Y
What's important that we gave a great fight for the public.
muy bien de salud los dos y pues gracias a todo este público tan bello, que Dios me los bendiga a todos.
And we came out in good health. Thank you to everyone. God bless everyone here, the public.
Was this different than the last 2 fights? Specifically, was this different than the last fight just 18 months ago?
Bueno, todas las peleas son diferentes, pero todas son difíciles. Esta es la demás más difícil también.
All fights are different and all fights are difficult, and I think this was the most difficult one.
Hicimos lo que pudimos y pues hay que darle gracias a Dios en las buenas y en las malas.
We did what we could, and you have to thank God both in the good times and the bad times.
I think a lot of people believed that this would settle the rivalry between you guys. I don't know that anything was settled in this ring tonight. Would you like to do a 4th fight with Juan Francisco Estrada?
Bueno, siempre y cuando paguen bien, por supuesto.
Well, as long as they pay well, of course.
Eso.
That's what we're here for.
All right. Let them get their money, but
continue after this fight.
No sé todavía. Todavía hay que platicarlo con mi familia.
I don't know yet. I'm going to talk about it with my family.
What do you have to consider when you're making that decision?
Bueno, mis hijos es lo más importante. Con ellos lo voy a tomar.
Well, my kids are the most important things. That's what I have to take into consideration.
Congratulations, Roman. Unbelievable performance once again.
Gracias, buenas noches, Dios me lo bendiga.
Thank you, good night, and God bless you to everyone.
All right, we're going to bring in Eddie Hearn.
Here go fucking fast car. We're going to be here all night.
These two have waged now 36 rounds of pretty competitive fights. What did you think of the fight?
Unbelievable. I think, firstly, Glendale, you've been unbelievable. What about a round of applause for these two warriors? Juan Francisco Estrada and Chocolatito, unbelievable. This is, we're in an age at the moment where the big fights aren't happening. These guys have done it 3 times. Another sensational fight. Estrada, Chocolatito, who knows what's next? Too much respect for both of them.
All right, so you do have a measure of influence about what comes next. This man, Juan Francisco Estrada, has picked up the win. What would you like to see him do next?
Listen, I think there's a possibility at number 4. I think Julio Cesar Martinez against Estrada is a great fight for Mexico as well. But look, this man's a pound-for-pound great. He's a future Hall of Famer. He'll have a nice rest. We'll see what's next.
And Chocolatito, if a 4th fight does not materialize, what do you think is in his future?
I think, this is a guy that's going to take his time. There's big fights going on. Franco and Ioka in Japan coming up in December. I still like number 4. You've got big fights out there for both, but let them have a rest, Chris.
You can do 4, 5, and 6, and they'd still be competitive. I want to bring Juan back in here for just a brief moment. Juan, what fight would you like next? Would you like a 4th fight with Chocolatito, or would you like to take on somebody else?
Bueno, ahorita descansar con la familia, pasar una bonita Navidad, pero sin duda Román se merece una cuarta pelea.
Well, first, I'm going to rest with my family, go get through the holidays, but I do believe that Roman deserves a 4th fight.
Congratulations, Juan.
Congratulations, Juan.
Guys?
So, you got Ioka taking on Jesse Rodriguez over in Japan. Francisco Estrada, Chocolatito 4, I don't want to see that. Cesar Martinez, he's probably going to move up then to fight Sonny Edwards. There's political issues there. So, therefore, Estrada versus Martinez, maybe that can, spice some things up. Fernando Martinez coming off of another win over Joan Cajas. The Moloney Andrews creeping up on the title shot. Me and my colleague Big J been talking about that. Estrada versus the winner of Rodriguez Ioka. Okay, Estrada versus Cesar Martinez next. And then the winner of Ioka and Rodriguez. I wouldn't be surprised if PBC picked up an option on Fernando Martinez. For what? I'm not sure, because they have no type of stroke in the division. Just to hold on to the belt, I guess. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Take a time out. Like the video, subscribe. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360.